Windows Phone 8. It's still bold, it's still beautiful, and now it's also much closer to stealing customers from iOS and Android. I'm Jessica Dalcourt from CNET, and I'll use this HTC Windows Phone 8X to show you just what I mean. Now, Windows Phone 8's new start screen gives the mobile operating system a fresh lick of paint. The live tiles extend all the way to the edges, and you can cycle through each one to change its size to small, medium, or large, just like Goldilocks, huh? The result is more space for the tiles you look at most, and while you're at it, there are more theme colors too. Cosmetic change comes also to the lock screen. You can program it to give up information like a Groupon deal of the day, Facebook alerts, and today's forecast. Have you ever handed your phone to a kid and worried that they might get into parts that you don't want them to, or reset your keyboard language just for laughs? Well, Microsoft execs have too. They came up with the idea of Kids Corner, which is like a second lock screen for the tykes in your life. You control which games, apps, and music they see, and they return the favor by never accidentally calling China. NFC support is a major new feature to come to Windows Phone 8, and Tap and Send is probably how you'll encounter it most. You'll be able to use Tap and Send to share all sorts of content like contacts, photos, Word documents, and song IDs. It'll even work with some non-Windows Phone devices. I was able to share a URL with an Android Samsung phone, for example. It's really neat to use and saves you having to email attachments and links to share with others who have the same OS as you. Microsoft's Wallet app is an offshoot of NFC. If the carrier lets you, and if there's a compatible point-of-sale terminal at the store, then you can enter a credit card and tap to pay for stuff. But you can still use it anyway to store credit card information and details about other loyalty cards too. The phone's wallet also stores the info to use on purchases you might make while using the phone, like to the built-in music subscription service or an app store. And yes, you can password protect the wallet. In fact, I'd highly recommend it. The Bing search app gets a few more extras too. You swipe to see top headlines, videos, movies, and local deals. The Local Scout app, which is sort of like Microsoft's version of Yelp, now has an extra column where it suggests places that your friends like or spots that are popular. One of the most innovative features in Windows Phone 8 is the extra camera lens functionality in the camera. Basically, you can load on-screen controls built by third-party developers to do things with their app. The CNN app, for instance, gives you an interface where you can shoot video from the street and submit it to the network as part of a citizen journalist newscast. Less sexy, but definitely practical, is all the cloud syncing that goes on behind the scenes. If you decide to sync things like photos and documents, you can view them from other Windows Phone 8 devices like your tablet or PC. Syncing even more stuff, like your text messages, helps restore the contents of the phone if you lose it or it all goes kablooey. Believe it or not, the most useful new features are buried deep within the code. Microsoft software allows phones like this 8X to use multi-core processors, a high-definition screen, and expandable memory slots if the manufacturer wants to use one. This phone has the first two, but not the last. The bottom line is that Windows Phone 8 helps make really gorgeous devices like this fast, sleek, and highly desirable. The OS isn't perfect, and there are still things that Microsoft can do to even the score, like integrating turn-by-turn voice navigation, for instance. Android will remain king when it comes to flexibility, and iOS still reigns when it comes to simplicity. But Windows Phone 8 is starting to rise as a stronger third option that has an edgy and powerful smartphone personality all its own. Now, there's much more to see, and for all the details, you should read my full review. I'm Jessica Dalcourt, and this has been Windows Phone 8 OS on HTC's Windows Phone 8X smartphone.